Hey, what is up, guys? Shadow Steel here. And before we get started with today's video, I kind of want to talk about what's going on. Because this video, essentially, it's the same videos we had about 2 years ago with Railworks Sundays, but it's part of something new called the Legacy Series. And I want to talk about what the hell the Legacy Series is before we get started in today's video. So the Legacy Series is basically a collection of re-uploads of older videos, not just to Virtual Fan Productions, but many of these videos are going to be uploaded to another channel called the Otaku Gamer, which is linked down below. Now, the Otaku Gamer has its origins pretty far back to, actually the Legacy Series as a whole, and the Otaku Gamer and all that kind of stuff, has a very, very kind of weird origin story. And actually, this poster behind me, that actually kind of ties in with it as well. So, the Legacy series is kind of an origin of why and how and what ended up happening to a lot of the older videos. Years ago, actually two and a half, 3 years ago now, just before I got hired at Michael's, which is my current job now, I started uploading YouTube videos. They were short videos, about 10 minutes long. The first two videos, which have been deleted since then, were how-to videos on Transportation Tycoon Deluxe. And on Facebook, I posted a status saying, what does a tablet computer and a portable hard drive have to do with the Legacy series? Well, it actually has to do a lot with how the YouTube channel started at first. At first, when I was recording videos, I didn't even have the PC setup I have currently, where and this PC setup is pretty basic, to be honest. I have a webcam, like right up here. This is my webcam right here. And for a while, I was using a headset for my audio. But this didn't happen until way like about half a year ago, like 6 months ago, I started using a headset for my recordings rather than what I was really using a long time ago was the audio from the webcam. I was actually, instead of capturing the audio from a mic up close to my mouth, I was actually capturing audio from the webcam. This actually originates from the tablet computer, which had a built-in webcam and microphone, which I would use for my face cam footage. Now, none of the videos I have on my channel currently use that old setup, whereas a little tablet computer with 64 gigabytes of hard drive space, and yeah, I had to use an external hard drive to actually record the videos, port them to the hard drive, then create the videos and edit everything like that. And this wasn't very efficient. So about 3 years ago, I got my desktop and started actually making more professional, I guess you could say professional videos for YouTube. And like I said, this poster behind me kind of ties in with that origin. The poster behind me just so happens to be with the famous Achievement Hunters.
Just stare at the water. The water's pretty.
Is it? We had the texture thing last time.
Yeah, it was weird last time, too.
Oh, it wasn't?
Yeah, it was. Remember, Ryan couldn't be Ryan, and all of our names blinked in and out like it was a...
Oh! What the fuck? All right! What is this? I'm in a fucking hurricane!
What the hell?
What? God damn it! Fucking
already left the game.
I
got disconnected.
Everyone's getting dropped!
Flying is not enabled! What is that?
All right! You broke the fucking game!
What the hell?
Are you still there?
I was, yeah. No.
Wow!
What the hell? I'm trying to send a fucking email.
Which they just launched a new first member-only series called Achievement Haunter, the pilot episode. And let's face it, it's going to be Achievement Haunter. But I watched them since 2012, and I always wanted to do a Let's Play series kind of on my channel. And early on, when my channel was still named Shadow Steel 18, I actually had a schedule set up. The original schedule was going to be on Sundays. Originally, it was nothing there until Railworks started coming into play. So it was Railworks Sundays first. Then on Mondays, I was going to try and do something similar to what the Achievement Hunters did with GTA 5. They had every Monday a GTA Let's Play, and I wanted to do the same thing.
So it's like
No, fuck that.
on the
He's dead.
pier,
He's
on
not
the
here.
pier, like by the Ferris wheel.
I
Or?
mean, it's a giant thing. You can't miss it. Yeah, it's up there on the road.
Oh shit! The bed.
Jeff, look for the giant thing.
Kevin has appeared. That's what nuts. Oh, that's a cop. All right, good.
I wanted to inspire him. I kind of wanted to do that, but as soon as I got GTA 5, I realized I don't really have anybody to play with, so this is going to be boring. But meanwhile, before even that started, Trackside was going to be scheduled on Thursdays, while on Tuesdays it was blank, Anaplay was on Wednesday. It was a mess. It was a total mess. So, lo and behold, in February, when I released the first ever full-on Let's Play of Trackside on the St. Paul's Pass for Trains New Era, oh my god. The video, within weeks of it being released, got 1,000 views. Today, it's the most viewed video on my channel with over 6,000 views. And that's how this channel ended up becoming Virtual Railfan Productions. Very early on, the editing style for those videos were terrible. It was just a separate program using my face cam called UCam, which eventually broke. Like, I literally couldn't record the audio coming from the microphone at that about shortly after Railworks came out, or shortly after Railworks Sunday started coming out. I noticed that my webcam audio was failing entirely, so I had to use a whole nother recording software. So UCam was my webcam audio, Bandicam was my capture program, and this is pretty prevalent when you see the very first episode of Trackside Let's Play. When the video starts up, I'm not even in the game. I literally am starting up the game as I press record. I am like, and in the background, I have my desktop background, which actually is which is Applejack and Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony, and I kind of want to get into that in a separate video, so let's not talk about that yet. But because of that, I actually get a comment in that video like, "The one true shipping." I'm like, okay, you're referencing the background. Okay, sure, why not? And, yeah, that was a mess. After I released all the parts of the St. Paul Pass scenario, I tried to do the same thing with the Hinton subdivision on Trains New Era. Failed horribly. Back then, I was using a GT 730 for my graphics card. And I've talked about this in another video, but that was a terrible little graphics card for something like that. And as a result, I literally couldn't play the game because it was lagging so horribly. I actually ended the episode short before I could even do any more footage. And yeah, that became such a problem. And actually, it's one of the reasons why the remasters for Railworks Sundays started coming about later on last year, was because I was using the GC 730 last year, and the GC 730 the first year, and all that footage was all messed up. And actually, shortly after recording some of the remasters, a glitch that appeared back in Railworks Sunday Season 1 appeared again with my computer. And I learned that the reason for many of these, the famous Spire glitch that I was having for years then, was because the graphics card was overheating. And when it would overheat, Railworks would have these moments where the textures would just spire up into the sky. And one guy commented, "Oh, have you seen The Shining?" Like, it was a joke because it was becoming so and so ridiculous that, in fact, the title card for the UP44 4014 Comes Home is one of the screenshots I took of those spires. And again, I wanted to remaster all that content. But at the same time, there was content like on Trackside that I didn't want to remaster, I didn't want to take down, I didn't want to do anything with. Because, one, they were important to my channel's history, and two, that some of these videos, such as Misadventures in the Wasteland, which came about, which was supposed to be an every Monday series but didn't work out too well, they needed to be either completely redone from the ground up or ported over to a new channel entirely. And so when I came up with the Legacy series, this was initially for videos that were not part of Virtual Railfan Productions. So Misadventures in the Wasteland, Retro Play, stuff like that, they were going to be part of a Legacy series on my secondary channel called the Otaku Gamer. fast forward to about late December of 2017. I am finishing up some edits on. I was editing the Let's Play, the footage for 4014 Comes Home. And what I had to do was I had to cut up the video in several different ways, one of which where I had to actually put the title card and everything in there, move the cameras in certain positions, and then put the footage in. Because if you watch the video very closely, it's actually the original footage where I'm still using the webcam as the audio device for my microphone and the gameplay and everything's relatively the same. The only thing that's different is that the title card at the top and the map is showing up, which in all honesty doesn't usually happen. And the setup that was based off of was something on this episode. The setup for Railworks Sundays kind of finalized by the end of Season 1 and started going into Season 2. And as a result, the reason that this is becoming a legacy episode rather than an original remaster is because there was nothing wrong with the original episode. The only thing I needed to do was to add a few things, change a few things, and even promote. I mean, for God's sakes, I had to promote that scenario because it was part of the workshop showcase. And it was something I was going to do at the end of each season was a workshop showcase. A showcase of one of my scenarios that I was doing. Well, that only lasted for 2 seasons. So, yeah. And then Season 3 comes out, and I tried to do it again, and it didn't work. Anyway, so this episode is a very, very interesting episode. There's very little in the way of editing. The Legacy series as a whole is going to be similar to this, where there's little to no edits in the video. And yeah, many of the episodes, such as Misadventures in the Wasteland, Retro Play, and stuff like that, those are going to be moved over to the Otaku Gamer. Like I said, the link's down below. Many of the playlists that were started here, they're going to be ported over. So for Misadventures in the Wasteland and stuff like that, the playlists are going to be removed and ported over. But other playlists, such as Retro Play, they'll be kind of shared between the 2 channels because there are some Retro Play games on this channel that are kind of in that same realm as the Otaku Gamer. So, with that said, let's get started with today's video. Hey, what is up, guys? Shadow Steel here, and welcome to Railworks Sundays. This is the season finale, season 1 finale of episode 12, and we're doing something different. I recently created a scenario specifically for the workshop, and we're gonna showcase it here today on Railworks Sundays. It's for the Clear Creek narrow gauge line, and naturally, you're gonna be doing a lot of switching, a lot of it's a real difficult one to say the least. So what we're going to do is we are going Good afternoon, driver. Hope you are ready for a good day's work. You'll be taking a train full of supplies to Black Hawk to help repair a washout near Smith Hill. Okay, meanwhile, we're going to put the control in the firebox. We need to put our regulator in forward or reverser. Not sure how to do it. I'm going to sit in the cab, the caboose here. Then I'm going to switch the junctions here and here, and we should be good to go. There we go. There we go. Now there's a little trick to this scenario I've noticed. So first off, we're going to be going down to the upper switchback rear. That's a... By the way, way, it's also good to use the caboose when going down the switchback. As you've probably noticed, the train, the way it's designed, the train is actually pushing it rather than actually pulling it. So let's get back on our caboose. Now, we're just about to go downhill. So what you'll need to do is, well, first off, turn on the blower. It's best to keep that up for boiler pressure purposes. And then set the reverser down. I'll set it to 75 as we are probably going to be heading down grade very soon. There we go. The caboose just hit the downgrade. So, naturally, we're starting to go down. Use the regulator to keep keep the locomotive from running out of control. Also use the brake a little bit. There we go. Use the regulator. Off and on. Let the locomotive slowly gain speed. Not some good views. So this is our train, as you've noticed. We got a caboose. We've got the boxcar, pipes, lumber, more gravel, and then the locomotive. Trust me, this is very difficult. This can actually be pretty difficult if you're not keeping an eye on everything. Those are our safeties. Always keep an eye on your boiler pressure and everything. Remember, you're going to be using your train's actual steam pressure to keep the boiler pressure, to keep it from going downhill too quickly. Central City down there. Now, there's no timetable thing here, but you'll definitely want to get there on time, as there is a meetup at Blackhawk, if you want to do that. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to get the train up to speed so we can actually meet up at Blackhawk. There we go. Get some more speed. Alright, there was a rock slide at the first rock cut just outside of Central City. It has since been cleared, but the speed has been restricted to 10 miles an hour. So naturally, what we're going to do is try and lower our speed just using the regulator, because our brake pressure right now is just fine. We're not going too out of control, and we're not losing too much speed. Because our safeties again, perfect time to have water to the boiler. Went over the trestle here. And actually, we do have some time before we reach the rock cut, but actually, always keep an eye when I'm going to release the brakes because of our, and just use the throttle. See if I can actually get this thing to slow down. There we go. We need to keep an eye on that boiler pressure. There we go. Milepost 39. Here's the rock cut here. Now, the one interesting thing here, you actually have rocks in the way. Going through the rock cut here. Keep an eye on your speed here. There's no speed limit, speed things over there telling you, hey, you're supposed to go down to 10 miles an hour. That's why I put the message up. The message is supposed to tell the engineer, hey, you're supposed to drop your speed before you hit through here. Now, because this is a standard scenario, there's no real point, no real actual point deduction from that. But it's still worth kind of keeping an eye on your speed to kind of recreate the attempts. There we go. Now that we're out of the speed restriction, we can gain our speed back. So once again, we're going to hit our... There we go. Lower. And we're staying steady here. I find this the best way to get down the hill at a decent speed. There's not really any need to worry about really overcomplicating the brake system. I found that with the brakes itself, I've had a very difficult time actually slowing the train down at a decent rate. There's our destination down there, Blackhawk. You can see we already have some traffic down there. There's our train. There's all the traffic there. So, you might want to keep an eye on your speed going down this grade. There's also, again, I said there's a meetup just up ahead, so you want to make sure either you get there before the locomotive arrives, or you get there after the locomotive arrives, or because if you get there during it, you could cause problems with the scripting, as the yard itself is pretty crowded. So I believe this will be just okay for now. Don't need to worry too much. I have a feeling I might need to throw you in the brake a little bit, because I think there's like a 2.5% grade just up ahead. I know there's a 4% grade further down the line on the other switchback. That. Okay, yeah, there it goes. Keep an eye, as wheel slip can occur very easily. Okay. There we go. Okay. So here's another way to do it, I guess. I usually have the reverser in backwards, having the train try and pull the train back, keep everything okay. But apparently, if I just keep the brakes at a certain limit... Oh boy, holy crap. I didn't realize that my water pressure was... The water was down that low. Okay. Keep an eye on your water too, I guess. Hi, doggy. One of my dogs are coming to my room. He wants to know what's going on. Hello. What? What is trouble? Do not work. Alright. So, I am keeping an eye on actually getting water in the boiler, so I'm going to turn that off. Lower my brakes a little bit. Let the speed come down. Or keep it steady at least at 12 miles an hour. Ooh, this might be a good image here. Let's see what we got. This is an interesting because when you're like a side image like this, you'll know that. Oh shit! Ah, I see. Okay, good. We're slowing down now. We don't want to go. I wanted to increase my speed a bit. Keep in mind, once you get to the switchback, you need to get right up to the buffer for this train. So you'll need to be very, very careful not to derail your train and get off the buffers. So just keep that in mind, guys. It's been tricky for me, so it's going to be tricky for you as well. Also need to turn down my regulator a little bit. There we go. We don't need to have it that high up. In fact, we could probably just let it... Oh, no. See there? Always... The one thing about this locomotive is that once you get like a certain... What we got right here? It should be, okay, let's turn off the brakes. Okay. What? Oh, bouncy. The boiler pressure's coming up. We'll need to put water in the boiler before we head back down. What I probably should do, I hope to do this in the future, but I have an idea of putting like speed restrictions further down this line where where you'll get the incentive to slow down just prior to getting the switchbacks, so you don't actually run right off. Because right now, as it stands, you're getting the full speed limit, and most players are probably going to be going full speed ahead up until the very last moment. So, we are now at the switchback. We're now at a 0% grade. I'm going to turn the throttle off. Apply the brakes. My regulator. And we're going to try and get right up to the buffers. The good incentive to do this is use the boost as much as possible to actually get a view where you're sort of in the front end of the train. Now we'll need to put water in the boiler because our safety has just popped right as we got here. I'll get this one. Now we have plenty of room. I'm gonna go to here. Player. Now we're gonna go to the lower switchbacks. So first, we'll need to get out of this area here. We'll also need to show the task real quick. This area actually is a bit tricky. As you may want to keep an eye, once again, on boiler pressure. Nothing there. The valves are going off again. Now down here is a 4.1% grade, and that's going to be tricky later on because you're getting another train up there. There we go. Water's at 90. Now we're going to put the regulator at 70. I'm going to apply the brakes a little bit. Now, I don't need to worry too much about the regulator just yet. We're not hitting the very steep point of the grade. But we also need to just make sure that our train doesn't get wheel slip on the way down. Because there is a 4.1% grade just up ahead. Meanwhile, if you keep an eye out down here, you'll probably see, there it is. You see it? Just down there. Alright, it looks like I'm not getting enough speed, so I'm going to apply throttle to get down here. So I saw number 70 just pop through down there. There she is. So there's number 70. That's our meetup. Unfortunately, we didn't make the time. Make the time. Okay, it looks like our brake pressure is okay for now. Doesn't look like we're getting too much of a speeding issue. By the way, you'll get a slight chance to meet up with 70 at the station prior to this, because number 70 actually will stop at a water tank just further down the line. But you have to be quick because this part of the switchback is pretty tough. I turned off the throttle because we're there. Number 70 stopped at the water tank, and it actually looks like she's loading up with water. Oops, god damn it. Now, the original scenario was going to have you turn on the turntable, but I really don't have any good idea of how to implement that. You see, all three tracks on just in Blackhawk are blocked up. So there's actually not really a good way to get around that. Again, our safety can come off again. There's not really any need to put water in the boiler. We are going decent enough. Number 70 is now once again moving back. So it looks like number 70 will arrive at the station just moments before we get there. For, okay. Again, this is our tricky scenario for you guys. Or at least supposed to be. Oh, there we go. So yeah, number 70 is now approaching the depot, so we're just gonna pop in there. Safeties are going off again. Put some water in the boiler. Just apply throttle a little bit. Get us a little bit of speed. Oh, fuck! Would you look at that? We actually sped this round. I was hoping not to speed. I was hoping not to speed at all, but we ended up causing a few... Oh, there we go. Wheel slip. Both rounds. Turn off the brakes. And now now, because we're on a 1% grade, we really don't need to worry about having the... We don't need to worry too much about the locomotive. Number 70 has arrived, so we don't need to worry about picking up the 2. Done with that. Oh, we have a bridge. Stop breaking anyway. Alright. So now what you have to do, this one's tricky. This little switchback's tricky because it's a lot smaller than the others. So as a result, you're actually going to need to actually get a lift. This time, literally right up against the buffers. And there's a gradient upwards when you approach this segment. And you need to make sure your throttle's going. Now we need to press brake. There we go. So, you go to the front of the train. You'll need to make sure that the switch is not blocked because you need to go the other direction. Fucking train's trying to move. Now we set our... There we go. And actually, I had my brakes on. There we go. Whoa. Notice all the track marks over here. Well, that's not good. God damn it. God damn it, why are you... That one. Well, there's number 70. Originally, the scenario was going to have you use number 70, and it probably still shows up when you first download it as saying number 70. Nonetheless, coach kind of into the yard here. Interesting. I've never actually heard... I wonder if that's a signal sound. There's never heard that before. Alright, our train's in the yard. What you're gonna have to do is unhook. Is actually go back to the rear of the train here. You need to set your reverser backwards real quick. You're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to go here. Apply the handbrakes on the lead two cars. That's what I did anyway. And then, in one quick rough motion, you release the brakes, you apply throttle, and you leave. Alright. Good work. Now you need to couple the passenger cars on the southern depot track and load the crewmen. There we go. All you gotta do is kind of send her out. Make sure your brakes lock. Now, I don't know what's going on here, why it says we got wheel slip, but you'll keep getting wheel slip if your brakes are on too hard. There's that, and there's that. So there's that. You'll need to hook up the passenger car there. Okay. Release the brakes. And again, you can only just coast just a little bit down the grade just to get to the thing. By the way, you probably don't need your headlight on when you're running like this, but it's not real too much of a need for it. So, I figured we would need to start using the regulators. Alright, so over to our passenger cars. This is where things get tricky. If you move anywhere off the platform, you get the cars, your station stop instruction goes away. And you need to use the station stop instruction, but you need to actually have a station stop instruction. Apply water to get some water in the boiler just so we can actually keep in mind that your locomotive is going to need to stop at the station immediately after hookup. Okay, it looks like I stopped too short. Let's see if I can actually hook up. No, I cannot. So apply. So now, need to load. There we go. Again, we got wheel slip. We don't need. But again, this is a scenario which doesn't need to worry too much about wheel slip. Now, what you're going to have to do next is actually pretty interesting. When I originally made the scenario, there was a problem where the train, even with just 2 passenger cars, an empty flat car, 2 empty gondolas, an empty boxcar, and an empty caboose, actually caused the train to stall. And that was just with 1 locomotive. So now, what we're going to be doing, now I've actually set it up where there are, oops, that's the wrong way. Where now you actually have to hook up a helper engine to the rear of the train. And that is where that locomotive up there came into play. Now we're gonna go just... By the way, this area actually had something there for players to hook up. For safeties again, we'll probably put some more water in the boiler. Keep in mind, again, you have to apply the brakes while trying to stay at the reverse point. So what I'm going to do, okay, there we go. So there was a message that was triggered once we went through the approach, but it was delayed, so you actually get a point. You kind of get a little bit of an insight. Management has assigned number 65 to help us with the return trip. We'll need her to get up the 4.1% grade to Central City. Also keep in mind that number 65 is actually quite stops here. So I've already switched the track so we can hook up to the locomotive. So what I'm gonna get. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't know. Keep in mind, there's also a steep gradient up this way. Now that we've got our locomotive, we'll need to head up the grade. Go. Getting her up here will be a difficult task, as you will need to... You'll need to really focus your efforts on trying to keep her from going too fast, and at the same time keeping her from going too slow and going backwards. Technically. I'm going to go back here real quick. Let her slow down a little bit. Water's down a bit, so we'll need to fill that up. So, there is a conflicting thing I'm not entirely sure of within this game and within the Oran Train franchise. In Oran Train Simulator, the actual speed to hook up the cars without actually damaging them is 5 miles an hour. While here, it is, for US trains, there we go. Alright, now that you have number 65, it's time to make up the rest of your train. So, what we're going to do here, I forgot that this train and number 68 are completely different. So what you're going to need to do is keep an eye on the water level here, while at the same time your fire mass here. The fire mass is okay. So now, we need to go back the other way to the reverse point, which is the eastern reverse point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the... By the way, that just keeps going, no matter what you do. Also, the entire train has to be off this switch. So we'll need to go here. And apply the brake just enough where you guys know. Now there are two ways you can do this. You can get your train just a bit onto the reverse point and simply again, you have wheel slip there, but that's okay. Again, there's not really any incentive to really worry about the wheel slip. Now you need to switch this track, make sure that your way is set to go back to the reverse point, to the western reverse point. Make sure you're near the end of the point. There we go. Now we need to set the train. And what we're going to do is release it just to brake just enough where we're moving. I guess it will not move unless the brakes are fully off. Keep in mind also that this train is a lot more powerful than most other trains on this line because it's a double header. Brake. Wheel slip indicator. Again, it looks like we didn't get off the switch, which we need to do. So what we're going to do is once this marker goes away, we'll back the train up a little further and hook up. Alright. Now we're going to have to hook up to those two cars right over there. So I'm going to back the train up. So we're off the switch. There's a map view. Make sure that we are clear. We are. There we go. We'll stop. Now, yeah, okay. You don't have to really worry too much about timetable, the actual timetable scenario. This is considered to be a freight scenario in my opinion. So you really don't have to worry too much about getting there on time. It's still worth trying to get there at a decent pace. There we go. Now we're hooked up to those cars. Now we need to go to the switchback. So once again we're going to go to here, so rear locomotive. I'm going to check our boiler water level. Boiler water level is low. I'm going to put some water in there. It is good. So the boiler water level is going to be a tricky thing as you're going to need to put the 5 cylinders on. Make sure that you're actually hold on self flat real quick. Again, you're going to have to get all the way towards the rear switch back. I'm gonna check the front, make sure we're not on the switch. We are not. Alright. Now, you switch this and then switch this, because we're going to be hooking up these cars down here. Okay? Now, this stopping point marker was originally going to be used in the scenario, as you were going to drop off 2 cars here, hooked up the boxcar that was sitting here, and then hook the train back up. But because I added a second locomotive, it was almost impossible to get through the switchback with all of the cars that are on your hand. So, I'm going to check the... Okay, water level is too high. There we go. We are going to regulate a little bit. Actually, this is a 1% grade as well, so you'll probably slow down shortly after entering the yard, or entering the siding. Once again, hook up to the train. Go on. That is actually a very tricky scenario. It's actually pretty fun though, as you do have kind of quite a bit of a challenge on getting the train up there. Come on. Check my boiler water level. We're good. Keep in mind that your train also has tilt front. Okay. I'm not good with switching scenarios, to be honest. But I do like making them. Whoop. So now you gotta go back to the switchback, mainly because your entire train now needs to go back up the grade. Interesting. Oh fuck! God damn it. That's very interesting. That's happened to me already before. Just wondering why. Oh, that's out of whack too. 9. Flip this. So far, no derailment. Now head back to Central City. Alright. Alright. If I derail, I think I know what's going to happen. I know exactly what's going to happen. So, now we got to keep an eye on our water, oil level. Actually, I was going to get a good screenshot of all the entire thing going uphill, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. Going over a 2% grade. Go for it. I honestly don't know why that happened. Somebody in the comments, please tell me why I'm getting some weird, wonky looking cars. Whoop! Damn it. Water level's okay. We need to put cold. We are about to hit our 4% grade. I don't mind speeding on this part at least. This is going to be a tricky bastard. Tricky dicky. The water level's okay for now. But we definitely need to keep an eye on our speed. I also want to make sure that our actual we're about to hit the 4% grade. This is going to be the moment of truth for my scenario, as I have not actually made sure that it's doable. Water level's down too much. I need to put in water. Oh, fire line is fine. There we go, 4%. Still gaining speed. Water level's fine. Turn it off. We're actually doing okay. Sure, the cars are a little wonky, but oh, the wheels are flipped. The wheels are flipped backwards, that's what's going on. Somehow when I hooked up the train, the wheels flipped, and now they're pointing the wrong direction. Got it. Now I know what's going on. Doing okay, guys. We're doing okay. In fact, we're reaching the top of the grade. We need to put water in the boiler once we get it. gonna go to the caboose, so we can keep an eye on water levels down again. But again, once we reach the top, I'll put some water in there, pause for a bit, let everything get under control. Unless we derail. Which, to be honest, I can totally see this happen. Okay, there's the end of the switch back there, so we need to be very, 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 very careful. Alright, apply the brakes. So, here we are. I'm going to go to the rear. And good, we actually fit. So, I'm going to turn on the flare. Flip this back. Alright, once... Oopsie. That is not supposed to be like that. I'll have to fix that later. But, naturally, we're going to have to go all the way up here. Keep our track north. Flip this, back. Oops. I know my brakes are on all the time. Alright. Self-lap. So I'm gonna set the throttle there. I'm gonna put some water in the boiler before we head out. The cold, everything's fine. Making sure that everything's good. Now we're gonna have our we're gonna go upgrade, and that's gonna be the challenging part of the scenario. But it shouldn't be too long. That's gonna be the last segment of the scenario. Just stop at the depot track and it should be fine. There we go. Everything's good. I guess I'll start the locomotive. By the way, the flashing you're seeing, if you're actually seeing that, I guess it's in my graphics card or something. For some reason, that wasn't happening before. Back to this now we're going back up the grade. So once again, I'm going to keep this one up a little bit. The other locomotive, water forward.
Alright. Water level. Water level down. Doing too bad. I mean, in the scenario, it's expected that you get there by 1404 or 1404. Looks like that wheel's flipped, that one's not. Here's the rock slide cut. Eventually, I'm probably going to make another image with all these together. That way we can have a good screenshot for the workshop page. Not doing too bad. Be careful once we get to the rock slide because I'm not allowed to use it over there. The two wheels. Water level is fine. Not too far off from the other one. Oh, shit. There goes the wheels. Okay, the wheels just phase through it. Like it's no big deal. What the? That hurt my ears. Alright. Alright, we can now accelerate. In fact, we're approaching Central City right now. We've actually gotten to Mexico. Whoops. We are almost done, guys. We are almost to our final destination. Check the boiler water level here real quick. It's pretty low, so some water in there. There's not really a need for it. There's not really a need right now to put water in the boiler. It's just that the actual safeties are going off way too long. Or the I can actually handle this what we're going on constantly. Safety. Okay. Now my local safety is going on. You're almost to our final destination. You can see it from ahead. Let's just make sure that we're on. Increase the speed a little bit. There's the platform. So number 75. Cars that we will destroy them. Get on the platform on the back. It's an airship. So the longest I think this scenario will run will be about 65 to 70 minutes. Is the longest I think. But I'm sure that for the average person, the actual scenario runtime could be about 55 to 65 give or take. Again, regarding whether or not you have some skills to meet it. We are in Central City. That's kind of cool. I never heard that echo before. Alright, so this is reasonable timing here. You will need to drop off the crewmen so they can load the cars. Essentially, oh, we just hit the... let's use the reverser route. So there you go. Good work today. You can take a break before we head back down the switchbacks. Hopefully the washout will be repaired by tomorrow. Final destination. So there you go guys. This is the name of the scenario. The Otaku Rail Company cleaning up after the storm. Look for it on Steam. There will be a collection I will make later on called Railworks Sundays Showcase Clear Creek Narrow Gauge. Like and comment down below. Subscribe if you want more. And I will see you guys next time.